Welcome to the Empress Lioness, a sacred space where the spirit roars and the soul remembers everything. In each episode, we sit with visionaries, founders, creators, and healers. I'm your host, Karen Mitchell. Welcome back, my beautiful rising women, to the Empress Lioness podcast experience, where we claim our voice, rewrite our destinies, and rise into the woman we were always meant to be. This space is sacred. This throne is eternal. And today, Empresses, we are stepping into a fire that does not burn us, but awaken us. Because today's guest is not just a speaker, she's a catalyst. She is a flame in human form. She is the embodiment of what it looks like when a woman stops apologizing for her brilliance and steps into her divine authority. Today, I introduce to you no other than Miss Snowden McFall, whom is the owner of Fired Up Professional Speaking and Coaching and co-founder of Women Making Change alongside the legendary Dr. Janetta Betch Cole. She has spent more than 30 years speaking on the world's biggest stages, guiding Fortune 500 companies in leadership, communication, and team transformation. She's a 6-time author, an executive coach, a powerhouse who teaches women to stop shrinking, stop dimming, and stop apologizing for their power. Miss Snowden, welcome to the Empress Lioness throne.
Woo! I am fired up to be here, and I am so excited to be here with you and your wonderful podcast listeners.
That is awesome. We thank you for being here. And with that, I'm going to jump right in because after an introduction like that, you are a superwoman.
Well, a superwoman who's had a lot of hardships along the way. So let's
I'm
make
sure.
that really clear.
So, Snowden, every powerful woman has a moment where she decides, I refuse to play small ever again. Was there a moment in your life when you became unapologetic about your fire?
Absolutely. You know, I grew up in a violent alcoholic family. My mother was terminally ill, and my father was an alcoholic too. And I grew up trying to save both of them. And I
Wow.
ended up in bad relationships. I was in a relationship with a man who had me convinced I wasn't attractive, I wasn't intelligent, and nobody else would want me. And I have 2 master's degrees, Karen, but I believe that nonsense. And finally, in my mid-20s, I woke up and I said, stop. This is not right. This is not who I am. And I got help. I got into therapy. I started doing a lot of personal growth work, and I started claiming my power.
Right. Awesome. So you coach women to stop shrinking. And I
Yes,
know from my own journey that shrinking becomes a survival skill. So
yes.
what do you think so many strong, brilliant women, why they're still struggling to step fully into their authority?
Well, probably you've experienced this, Karen. I know I have. So many women, strong, beautiful, powerful women, have been shut down by men, have been silenced, whether it's in their family structure or in society, and told, shh, don't talk. And it harms us, it wounds us. And so many women, just to survive, in business, in the business world, there's often times when you can't push back or else you risk losing your job. So I
Right.
think that happens to a lot of us from the conditioning around us. And then one day we can't do it anymore. We can't be silenced anymore. We have too much wisdom. We know our gifts. We know our God-given gifts, and we have to share them.
And we got too much fire.
Yes, ma'am. We got too much fire. We got to reignite that fire, strike that match, and let the world see our flame.
That is correct. So let's talk about that label women get. Too emotional, too loud, too confident, too ambitious. When did you stop letting the world define the volume of your voice?
It's a really interesting question. I think Probably in my 30s, I started really seeing impact, the gift of being able to help make a difference in the lives of others. That's what my life purpose is all about, and helping women especially do what they love and share their gifts with the world and seeing the results of that work. And that, more than anything, helped me to align with, okay, I'm living in my purpose. I'm listening, God. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Keep guiding me. And I can't be silenced anymore.
Wow. Now I know you've spent decades coaching leaders inside Fortune 500 companies. From your perspective, what does true feminine leadership look like, and why is the world finally ready for it?
Oh, boy, do we need it too. Our world needs it so desperately. True feminine leadership, in my opinion, has to do with, first of all, alignment. Being aligned with your purpose and your passion and your values and your own personal mission.
Right.
And then living in your integrity, having emotional intelligence and compassion for others and respecting others, having not allowing anyone to disrespect you. I was leading a panel in DC recently at the National Business Leadership Conference, and I asked the head of HR for Lowe's, all of Lowe's. She's an amazing woman, Janice Dupre. And I asked, what happens if you go into a meeting and a man talks over you? And she says, that never happens because people know who I am coming in. I was like, all right, it's so powerful. But not everybody has that option, so I think it's
Right.
staying in alignment with who you are and also not letting others push your buttons, because men who get threatened, and even there are some women who get threatened
Yes.
by a powerful woman, you have to stay clear of their negativity and keep walking in your purpose.
Ah, that is great advice. I think a lot of women struggle with that sometimes. They know it. They know they could be confident, but someone comes and pushes that button and all of that goes out of the window.
Right, it happens to everybody, it happens to everybody. The key is to just re-anchor into who you really are, whether that's through prayer, meditation, through looking at the results you've had with others, and then anchor back into that and then keep going. Don't
That is
let them
awesome.
stop you.
That is awesome. You wrote extensively about burnout, and I want to ask you something many women struggle with. How do we stay fired up without burning ourselves out?
We have to be really conscious and really focused. In fact, I'm doing a series of TV segments on this, and you have to be really mindful of your own self-care, because women have a tendency to give ourselves away to everybody else, to help everybody else, do everything for everybody else, and not do for ourselves, not take care of ourselves. So we have to make self-care a priority, and that means learning how to say no. Even if it's something you want to do, even if it's something you've done in the past, saying no is a gift to yourself.
Oh,
Oh.
wow. What do you say to women that are trying to practice that word no and make it a complete sentence? But
Yes.
we always get in contact with someone familiar and we're afraid or intimidated to really say no. What advice would you give that woman?
The question is what they're asking of you worth you sacrificing yourself? Now, there may be times when it is. It might be your child, it might be a family member, it might be a very big business initiative, and you know that if you put yourself out there, it can advance you. But most of the time, it's not worth sacrificing your health and well being for somebody else.
That is so true. You co-founded Women Making Change, a movement rooted in empowerment and transformation. What is the mission behind it, and how does it shift the lives of women who step into it?
Dr. Janetta Cole and I are dear friends. She's an extraordinary shiro, as you know. And we were sitting together having lunch last March, and we were so saddened by the loss now of 420,000 jobs. among women, and we said, "We've got to do something." Both of us are speakers and authors, and we were talking about writing a book, and I said, "Well, that takes a long time. We've gotta do something that's immediate." And so we came up with the idea of Women Making Change, which is a weekly newsletter where we showcase a global female change maker. The article is totally positive, and it's about the woman's life and her challenges and her social justice movements, the lessons you can learn from that, and then how you can apply it to your own life. And we have regular webinars. We have a webinar tomorrow, as a matter of fact, at 2 o'clock, that's free to anybody who wants to attend at wmnmakingchange.com. And we really have seen that women have gotten so excited about this because it's brought them hope and inspiration. And when you learn and read about the lessons from these women, you see that everybody goes through something terrible.
Yeah.
Everybody has hardships, and it's how you bounce back and how you achieve success in your own life on your own terms. And there's so many great lessons from these women. I'll tell you, one of the ones who most inspired me is a woman named Unstoppable Tracy. I met her when we were both getting an award in Toronto last year. She has no legs. She has no
Oh,
arm on this side. She has one finger. She is a world championship sailor.
wow.
Y Sailor. She sails around the world with very few limbs, and she wins, and she is
Wow.
not to be stopped. She is unbelievable. So whenever you think, "I can't do something," you look at someone like her and you go, "Oh, I guess I can. I guess I
No
can. If she
excuses.
can, I can." She's climbed mountains, she's skydived, she's done, scuba diving. She's incredible, and so you get to
Um,
see these stories and you go, "Okay, if they can do it, I can do it."
Sometimes you think, you know what, I'm doing really good. And then you look at someone like Unstoppable Tracy, what's her name?
Right,
And
yes.
then you're like, oh no, that she takes the cake.
Yeah, that's right, and you are doing really good. It's not a comparison. That's a really important point, Karen. Thank you for bringing that up. We
Yeah.
don't need, Oprah says comparison is violence against ourselves. We don't need to compare ourselves to anybody but our own goals and our own vision because we always lose when we do comparison.
Oh, wow, that is awesome that you added that in too, because I know we struggle with that as women on
Yeah,
a daily basis. We see
you bet.
another woman and we compare ourselves to them. We do it in our relationships. It makes us have low self-esteem, and I love that you brought that up.
Thanks.
So then, what do you hope your work ignites in the woman listening today?
That she is amazing, that she has incredible gifts that the world needs, that she is unique and talented and strong, stronger than she ever knew, and that silencing her voice means denying the world her gifts.
Wow, that is powerful.
Isn't it? I mean, it's so strong. I really
Yes,
believe that with every fiber of my being. I think women are amazing. I believe
yes,
women hold the key to the future of the planet. And you're seeing women around the world make big change. If you watch, we just wrote an article about Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum. And the
yes.
advances she's made for women have been extraordinary. It's so incredible to see. I think women are really the key to our future and our hope.
And not just for the human race. I've been watching it even in the animal kingdom and in every
Yes.
which way. It's just incredible. The female aura is just an incredible thing. Um, so I love that as well that you said that.
Yeah, she in fact, President Scheinbaum, she just now has ended dolphin captivity and is gonna release 350 dolphins out into the wild. So you're talking about
Oh,
animals. She's a major
yes.
environmentalist. Is that cool? Yeah, it's
That
so
is so
wonderful.
awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
What legacy do you want your fire to leave behind? And tell us a little bit more about your fire.
So as a professional speaker, author, and coach, I really the most exciting thing to me is to hear from my clients and hear how they're thriving. And, Dr. Maya Angelou said to Oprah Winfrey, and Dr. Maya also was very close to my sister, Dr. Cole. They were very dear friends. That's how Oprah and Dr. Cole got to know each other.
Oh,
And,
awesome.
but Dr. Maya said to Oprah, she said, "Your legacy is every life you have touched." And
Yes.
that, I hope, is my legacy, is the lives that I've touched and help people believe in themselves and go forward and share their gifts. That's what I really hope is my legacy.
Wow, that's a great legacy to have. I used to think about that all the time because we go through life experiences, we go through life, and then sometimes you think, well, what's next? What am I leaving for my
Right.
generation, for my lineage line? How am I? What are people going to say when they say, "Oh, I know your mom," or "I know whoever it was"? What are they going to say about me? And
Right.
so my entire mission was why I birthed the Empress Lioness podcast because I wanted to influence other women and let them know that you don't have to dim your light. You can be your authentic self, regardless of who likes you or regardless of who cares about you. You have to care about yourself first and let your light shine. So,
Absolutely. Your
so
light is
tell us
so important more than ever.
more than ever. You are absolutely correct. I think that's where a lot of the depression comes in. And I think when women get out of that depressed state and embrace who they are, the sky is the limit.
It is. I mean, you see just all sorts of exciting things happen. I was at lunch with a woman today who's just launching, and her fire is brilliant, burning bright. And when you're fired up, you ignite the flames of others. So it's highly contagious.
Yes. So tell us, what is Fired Up all about? That is your brand.
It is fired up. As a professional speaker, I speak not only to Fortune 500 companies, but also to small businesses and corporate trainings. And I do speeches and corporate trainings to help their people be more effective and work better in the workplace. And as an author, I have 6 books and there will be a 7th for sure, and so I'm hoping to touch people through my words as a writer, and then as an executive coach, working with I really love working with women. I have a handful of very smart men who work with me, but I really my real heart and joy is to work with women and just to see the transformations, and, right now, I'm seeing this is a season of big transitions. I've
Yes.
seen several of my female clients who are being taken advantage of and disrespected, and we're working on their exit strategy. And they're
Uh-huh.
moving out from where they are, and they're moving either in entrepreneurship or into a workspace that values them and their expertise. So it is a time for big, big change, and that fire can spread. And so for your listeners and your viewers, this is the time to live your dreams. This is the time to do what's always been in your heart because you can make that happen. And so
That's
that's what Fired Up is all about.
awesome. And thank you for your work of empowering women. That is so needed in today's society. Give me one word that describes your becoming.
My becoming. Love. Because I love people. I especially love women. I love God. God is a central force in my life. And I believe love is what connects us all. And when we do what we love, we automatically ignite the flames in others because that vibration rides on whatever we do.
Wow, that is awesome. What is one belief every woman must release?
That they're not good enough. It's just nonsense, and I've worked with that one all of my life. I have worked hard on that one all of my life because of the programming that I got as a kid of
Yeah,
alcoholics. And so we are all good enough. There is no perfection. Who you are right now today is excellent. You have great gifts and talents to share right now at this moment. Yes, we can all improve and work on ourselves, and hopefully we do that, but you are good enough right now. Don't stop.
that's right. And Snowden, I can feel your passion, your vibration, and your energy coming across. I know this is rooted in somewhere deep within you. This passion, this drive to help women. What is the one habit that changed your life to get here to this place?
You know, prayer and meditation are very important to me, and I try to meditate every day and connect up with what's, source for me,
Yes.
and that recentering helps quiet down the mind with all the mind chatter that's out there. And I would also tell you that I've been studying the field of positive intelligence, and so there are some very simple, easy techniques that people can use to just get into their heart and get into the right side of their brain. So it has to do with sensory, just, taking your two hands together and noticing how that feels and the texture of your skin and the depth and the temperature, and you just do that for 10 minutes and you shift out of that left side that's constantly judging and constantly criticizing, and you shift into the right side. But I would have to say meditation and prayer.
Oh, wow. I love that sensory one. I know a lot of people, they say meditation, doing the inner work, but I love that the way you described it, because just doing it right now, it does that.
It calms you down. Yes,
Yeah.
it's from the field of work by Shirzad Shamin called Positive Intelligence. He has a book and he's trained 1,000,000 people worldwide, and I've worked with his material and with my coaching clients, and it's amazing how something just sensory can shift your consciousness to the right side of your brain.
Wow. What's the one thing that every woman could claim right now to move her forward?
Her power. She is much more powerful. Every woman is much more powerful than they ever know that they are. I remember having a couple of teachers, women teachers in my life, whose words to me still echo.
Yeah.
And their power, your power, it radiates out from you in ways you never ever realize. But you stand in your power, your God given right, your power and your voice, and you make a difference when you do that.
Oh, wow. Snowden, what's the one thing you refuse to apologize for ever again?
Who I am. Who I am. I've worked really hard to love who I am. That doesn't mean I don't find myself criticizing myself and judging myself at times. Try and forgive that, but who I am. I'm not ever going to apologize for who I am. What you see is what you get. Yes, as we were sharing earlier, Karen, I am loud. I am exuberant. I am a big advocate for women. I love women. I am not going to apologize for who I am.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I am learning that, Snowden, because I get that label as well. You're too loud, you're too ambitious, you're too this and you're too that. And I just say too much for you, not
Right.
for the world,
That's
not
right.
for my mission.
That's right. And the right people come to you.
Yes.
That's the amazing thing. When you're centered and aligned with your purpose, the right people come to you at the right time, and you don't have to worry about those tutu people.
That is right. I wear them just like a tutu.
That's right. That's right. Nope, we're not playing that game. Nope, we're
That's
not.
right.
That's right.
So before I let you go, Snowden, I want to ask you if you could tell our listeners out there one encouraging thing to help push them and catapult them, or I should say, light the fire under them
There
to
you
get
go.
them out of that stagnant place. What would that message be?
I would want you to do an inventory of the times in your life when you overcame hard things. I think when you write those down, you'll find that there are so many times when you didn't think you could do something and you did, when you got hit with a big challenge and you overcame it, when you succeeded when you didn't think it was possible. Do an inventory of, I call it reference points of success, and make sure that you look at that every day and notice how amazing you really are.
Oh wow. I need to practice that in my daily life.
It's powerful. It's
It
really
is.
powerful.
Oh,
It is.
wow. I was right when I said, we have a woman here with power in her name, power in her energy. Tell our guests, Snowden, how they can make contact with you.
Fired Up Now, FIREDUPNOW.com is my website. And then if you want to be involved with Women Making Change, we give 3 free issues to anybody who goes and signs up. You're not charged anything. You just get 3 free issues of these women, and that's WMNmakingchange.com.
Oh, awesome. Snowden, thank you so much for pouring your fire, your wisdom, and your unshakable purpose into this sacred place today. To every woman listening, hear me clearly. You are not created to shrink. You were not born to be quiet. You are not here to apologize for the power that God placed inside of you. Your fire is anointing. Your voice is your permission slip. And your truth is your liberation. As Snowden reminded us, when a woman stops playing small, the world expands. When a woman stops apologizing for her soul breaths, and when a woman remembers who she is, she becomes unstoppable. Until this next time, this is your call to rise. Your crown is not coming, it's already here. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Snowden, for joining us. I'm your host, Karen Mitchell.